Go live. Hold up. Get the link on my. Yes, sir. Hold on. Yeah. We are here. We are live on YouTube. Yo, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. Man, I gotta say a cheers to them guys. You know what I'm saying? We gotta say cheers. Let's get right to it, man. Let's not waste no time. Well, hold on. Let's wait a second. I want to go ahead and put this on my Instagram real quick. Hold up. Go ahead and do this real quick. We're gonna go live on Instagram. Everybody, we are about to go live on Instagram. We got Fast Eddie Chambers. We got the YouTube family. We about to talk about this Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight, man. Make sure you swipe up. All right, let me get this up and loaded. And we are going to talk live on Instagram. We got Fast Eddie Chambers. We got the YouTube family. Eddie, talk to me, man. What did you see, man? Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. We're going to work from the Mike Tyson fight with Roy Jones, and then we're going to work down the line and talk about the undercards. I thought the undercards were phenomenal.
Yeah, so a couple of those fights were good. Yeah, they were.
Let's talk about Roy.
It made sense.
What did you see from a veteran like you? What did you see?
I mean, those are two of my favorites coming up when I was a kid. Roy Jones, as I became more knowledgeable about boxing and started to compete, was more the latter favorite of my career. But to be honest, man, Mike actually looked all right, man. Mike looked better than.
All right. I thought he was phenomenal.
No, I mean, considering like he was doing stuff. Now we know that he's 54,
right,
but he was doing stuff that you don't even see dudes now. You know what I mean? Well, nobody's gonna fight like Mike. That's Mike's game. That's his thing. But I mean, he was doing things skill wise and throwing shots in certain positions that you don't even see guys who were supposed to be quote unquote skilled guys doing in their prime nowadays. So I respect what he did, and he still has a good amount left considering his age, but that's against an older Roy. You see Roy trying to do some of the things that Roy does, you know what I mean? Trying to throw shots, but to be honest, I think Roy was in survival mode most of the fight because he felt them shots. Those wasn't pity pat shots.
Well, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that Mike Tyson took the high road and played humble.
Yeah, of course.
That's been his personality as of late. But I was surprised that Roy Jones sat there and really had the audacity to say he thought he won. I mean, he didn't do anything in that fight to say to sit there and say he won. Like, all right, we know it was an exhibition, and I salute to Roy Jones. I grew up watching Roy Jones, one of my favorite fighters of all time, phenomenal boxer when he was at his best, at his peak.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way if you were scoring that fight, ain't no way he won, and that damn sure wasn't even a draw. I actually, if I had to score it, I gave it an 8 zip. I thought he zipped them. I thought it was Mike Tyson won every single round. My personal opinion. What did you think? And listen, I know we're not supposed to score boxing and exhibition, but we went into this so excited that we got to talk about it like if it was a real fight.
Well, the reality of it is,
you score that fight. Let's keep it above.
Honestly, I would have said the same thing. I didn't see a round that Roy could have won. I'm gonna be real. It's hard to. It's like you want to kind of give him a round just because he's in there, but if you really scoring it and you really want to, he didn't. He was spending more of his time.
He didn't use the jab. He was holding the whole time.
He was doing his little famous Roy Jones stuff, but he didn't have enough sting on it to keep Mike off him. And that's what I was saying in the build-up. And to be honest, though, I'm more impressed that he was taking the shots and didn't get caught and knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, it was a lot of things, but he was holding a lot. So that's what kind of kept the knockout at bay. But in reality, if they were exchanging, he catches Roy, that's game over. That was what I was saying the whole time. But he was smart enough to figure out a way to kind of exist in there and swim with the sharks without getting bit. So, without getting bit too hard anyway. He was taking some shots. And he knew better than to exchange. I think he did it once or twice and slid a shot in there a few times. but nothing to win around, to be honest, in my opinion.
And let me tell you, man, for the people who sat there and was like, Coach Anthony, how can you say Mike Tyson won? My answer to you, very simple. I watched the damn fight. You know what I'm saying? that's my answer. Listen, I had Roy Jones winning. We talked about this. I thought Roy Jones was actually going to win. I thought that Roy Jones was more active as of late. I thought that Roy Jones kept himself in better condition over the years. We saw Mike Tyson blow up 100 pounds overweight. We've seen Roy Jones be more consistent in the sport of boxing, fighting as a professional. I figured Roy Jones would come in a tad bit sharper. I figured he would be able to hold the weight. But man, he really looked like a guy in survival mode. Now, did you notice Roy Jones limping when he was walking into the ring, like there was something wrong with his leg or something?
That's how Roy Jones, to me, from watching him for years, that's how he walks. He always had that little kind of limp with his walk. I mean, I didn't see anything different than what I'm used to seeing Roy. Yo, my wife was saying the same thing. Yo. He was like, look at this dude.
He was walking like he went into the fight ended.
Right. Well, because she was looking at it like it's the same thing. I'm trying to explain to her. I was like, nah, for Roy anyway, that's how Roy walks. And she's like, man, look at these old dudes getting in the ring. One limping, the other one look old and all that. But when they got in there, well, Mike, when he got in there, he started letting off and he looked like he was really paused. He started really look like he really looked like he was trying to do something in there. And that's why I said too, with this whole exhibition, nobody trying to throw shots to hurt anybody or whatever. That shit wasn't gonna be, because if Mike would have really had a chance to get him out of there, he'd have knocked him out. You know what I'm saying?
I want to give a big shout out to my good friend Trix the Barber. He just went ahead and he donated. To the channel, man. I appreciate you, brother. I've known you for a long time. Appreciate you, Trix. Listen, let's go ahead. And if you guys want to donate, please feel free to donate. We appreciate it. Never asked for it. It's never required. But yeah, man, Roy Jones, Mike Tyson. Roy Jones, Mike Tyson, man. I was happy to see the fight. I gotta say, I was very satisfied with tonight's card.
Surprisingly, in my opinion.
From the beginning, from the very first fight, I was like, damn, everybody really came to put on a show. Everybody really came and fought their best. Let's talk about Jake Paul and your boy, Nate Robinson. Let's talk about that. I put a post and I said, this is what people don't understand about boxing, right? What people don't understand about boxing is if you train with boxing, even for a limited time, like for instance, Jake Paul has been boxing maybe 1 or 2 years. He's a novice or at best class amateur. I don't even think he's an open class amateur. I think he's a novice, right?
He's a novice, yeah.
He's a novice. You take a guy who's a novice boxer that's been training for a year, maybe 2 years, and then you take a guy who's never boxed before, and you see what happens. And I be trying to tell these guys who never fought before, like, yo, bro, y'all don't realize there's a, like, don't get me wrong. Listen, any man got to punch his chance. Hold on, let me give another shout out. Anyway, everybody's got to punch his chance in a fight. You saw the skill difference, and it was only a year skill difference, and it was a big barrier. It almost looked like a mismatch. What did you see?
Yeah, 100%. Nate's a great athlete. That dude is a real serious athlete, like football, basketball. Obviously, he's a professional basketball player for years. He's just a phenomenal athlete. But it's like I told my people here, I was like, listen, there's a different coordination with boxing. There's different understanding. There's different mentality with boxing. You could be a tough guy anywhere. But once you step in that ring, you are no longer a tough guy, because everybody can fight. Everybody who you step in that ring with that has a certain degree of understanding of this sport can fight. He could be the biggest punk.
Yo, big shout to G, man. Our boy G just donated $10. All right, big shout to G. Big shout to Teron Young. I appreciate the $5, man. Listen, Guys, I appreciate it all, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys. Hold on, I gotta keep it going. Big shout out to my man right here, Bing Vatoski. Okay, $20, man. Listen, guys, I appreciate the love and support. You guys donate. I'm definitely gonna shout y'all out and show y'all my appreciation. I don't shout y'all out right away. It's because we're talking in a segment, but I see it popping up in the corner, so I'm gonna make sure I put your name out there. But I appreciate the love. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Eddie.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, he's a great athlete. He's done, great things in other sports. But I explained, like I said to my people here, the same thing. There's a different coordination. There's a different feel. There's a different mentality when you go in the ring. If you aren't prepared, and even if you think you're tough, like I've seen many street fighting dudes come in the gym talking about, yeah, give me your toughest guy. We put the weakest guy in there and they slap him around for a few minutes and send him home with their tail between their legs. It's just really like that. This is not like anything else you'll ever do. Now, granted, fighters can't necessarily play other sports all the time. Their coordination.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let's get $50 to get Eddie back in the ring.
Jesus Christ.
$50 to get Eddie back in the ring. Do we have another bidder?
Yo, come on, man.
Gets Eddie back in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Eddie, how do you match up with Roy Jones?
More than enough to get me paid again. I don't care.
How do you match up with Roy Jones and Mike Tyson right now, right off the couch, right now?
Off the couch?
Right in your bathroom right now.
We
know you in the bathroom right now. You know what I'm saying? So
right up in the goddamn, y'all, you got me about to show you. I ain't in the goddamn bathroom.
You know you in the bathroom, right off the toilet. How do you match up with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones?
Off the toilet. No disrespect to those guys or legends, but come on, man. I'm 38 years old. I ain't fucking 58 or 54 or 55, whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying that, no, go in there. But they're older guys. Now, Mike is dangerous no matter what. If he hit anybody on the chin, yeah, you know what I mean? There's a good chance they're going out of there. But nah, man, I'm still fairly young. I still can get in the ring and fight legit top 10 guys if I get right. So, no, it's not fair. It's not fair right now. I'm going to be honest.
Right. All right, so back to what we were saying. We're talking about Logan Paul. So we got a guy who has 1 year experience and completely he kind of knocked him out scary. It was like scary. Like the way he hit his head on the ground, like it bent his neck back, like it wasn't good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is why I try to explain. Like you can't just get in there looking. Like if me and you watch Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, playing basketball, as great a player as he was, or Michael Jordan or LeBron, any of these guys playing, they inspire you to want to do things, and you feel like, well, damn, if I get out there, if you got a good amount of confidence on you, you might think like you can play with them. You can't. I know I can't. I don't give a fuck how good I might play against some dudes in the YMCA. Nah, it's a different world playing with pros. I played with them. So when you talk about fighting and you stepping in there with a guy who's a pro, man, you ain't even got to step in there get in there with an amateur. He will send you home like, nah, this ain't for me. And that's the thing these people don't understand. Fighting is not fighting like you think it is. When you're trained professionally, when you work your life, or even if you work 2 years at something and really worked at it, and you get a newbie to think just because, I can play football, I play basketball. I love Nate Robinson. I love his mentality. I love his attitude. I like how he presents himself in his business.
Approach was semi-good for a second.
It was more of a humble.
Somewhat effective with the aggressiveness.
In ways I was talking before, but anyway, but yeah, a little bit. But he was wild, and he had no understanding of defense, and that's not necessarily on his trainers either. You can say what you want to say. You can't teach a fucking zebra to be a damn lion in fucking 2 days. It's not gonna happen. Even in 2 months, even in 2 years, even in 200.
How long you think Jake or which is the Logan? It was Jake, right? Paul.
It was Jake Paul this one. Yeah.
They all confuse me, man. But who do you think? How long do you think he's been training? Like
he probably been training a lot longer. He probably was dabbling in it. You know what I mean? When he was a couple years ago or whatever, and then decided, well, hell, let me go ahead and do this thing full time, or let me try. You know what I mean? He got plenty of money, sitting on all these followers, making all this YouTube money and all that shit. And he like, well, I got nothing I got to do all day. Might as well go ahead and try box. If you spend every day in the gym, like he said he was doing, training here, training that, lifting, and got all that money to pay these months, you better be good.
That guy definitely, he definitely did that. Hold on, give me 1 second. Gotta give a big shout out. Thanks for showing us boxing techniques. Stuff, man. I appreciate that, man. Hey guys, y'all showing love and support, man. We highly appreciate this, man. You know what I mean? We do the best we can to try to provide you guys with real boxing instruction. And guys, don't forget to go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. Right now, I got 50% off of the 50% off. So basically, that's 75% off. You're basically getting everything for free. Now's the time to get it, because after Cyber Monday, that's a dub. I'm cutting it off. There's easily on each course, there's so much value. It's really ridiculous. Like, let's keep it real, Eddie. Like, the stuff that we did together, you know what I mean? We really gave so much value, is out of control. But from AnthonyBoxing.com, go over there right now. Use the cyber code, the CA Boxing 50, and go ahead and save some money, man. And thank you so much. I don't want to pronounce your name wrong. I don't even know how you say that. Yao Hyong. That's the thing I know. Obviously, I'm not good. Like, Eddie, how do you say his name, man? But I don't want to disrespect you, champ. But I thank you so much. But I'm not even gonna pronounce your name because I don't want to say it the wrong way. But anyway, did you get a chance to see that? Did you get a chance to see that kid, Jermaine Ortiz?
Yeah, I think that was the fight right before.
Kid from Massachusetts. He was a Spanish kid from Massachusetts. He was switching to southpaw. And he fought a good fighter. He actually fought a good.
Yeah, that was a real competitive fight at first. Yeah,
that was a good fight.
It was a good fight. Really, really good fight. It surprised me.
Really impressed me, man. He really.
I was gonna say in the beginning of the fight, and I heard he was off for a little while, because he was off for a while. And I think he was like, what, I don't know, almost a year or something, like he was off, or maybe like not quite a year, but almost a whole year, about 8 months or something he was off. And you could see early, like he was really, it was a little sloppy. It was a little, because the excitement and all that, it was a little sloppy. But once they got their comfort level right, got the ranges right, he looked real good.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, man. That kid looked really good. He was getting touched up a little bit in the beginning. I ain't even gonna lie, he was getting touched up in the beginning, but yeah, man. But once he settled in, he just showed why they call him the technician, man. I mean, the kid.
I was thinking that same shit when I was watching.
And he was ripping body shots, and he had some good speed, and just very impressed with the kid, man.
Much better fighter than I initially thought. He really impressed me. And the adjustments too over the course of the fight, if you think about it, early on. And at first I didn't like his jab. I didn't like how he was using his jab. He was trying, it was almost like it was too much excitement, too much speed. When I say speed, I'm talking about trying to rush his way in to get close enough to where he's not going to get hit, but he can give himself opportunity to land a shot. And you can't cross over ranges, in my opinion, that fast. You run into shots. And it looked like he was doing that early. But once he got calm, understood the range, started using, got a little more confidence too. Started using use some shoulder roll movements. Start switching from offensive defense, but switching from orthodox to southpaw. He started doing some really good stuff. And he fought really well southpaw, actually too. You know what I mean? So he was good. He was good, well-rounded young fighter. I like it.
Yo, okay, let's talk about I didn't see the fight, but Joyce, right?
Yeah, Joyce. And I saw kind of like
who won the fight?
Joyce. You know, they say Dubois had retired in, I think, the 10th round, or he quit on the store. I don't know if that was true.
Tell me a little bit more about that fight, because I don't know much about it.
I didn't see it. I wanted to see it. I was looking forward to it. I was like, damn, how could I see it? And I think Joey was telling me, my man Joey was telling me, I think I could have streamed it, but I was out all day long, couldn't even. Then I forgot about it. I'm like, oh shit, the fight. And I know they're 5 hours ahead, so that shit happened already. So when I looked I looked on my phone and it popped up and it said he beat him in the 10th. He stopped him in the 10th. I think he put him on the stool on the 10th. And they, from when I was reading, and I couldn't finish reading because we was about to come on, they were saying that early on, Dubois had him going. It looked like he was going, but he got himself back together. I think in the second round, he said he got himself back together. And the third round, he came back, had a better comeback round, I think. And in the fourth, he started to like find his zone. He's got a lot more experience. He fought much better competition as a pro. And even though to me, like I said, he's not as like aesthetically pleasing. Like I don't really like the way he looks as he boxes, but he's got a great deal of experience, and he's been a winner from amateur to pro. So you can hate how he looks all you want. If you're effective, it don't matter.
So your people, let's get the people involved in this because there's some debate. If you thought Mike Tyson won, put Tyson in the chat. And if you thought that Roy Jones Jr. won, put Jones in the chat. Let me know, because apparently I'm crazy for some people when I said that I thought Mike Tyson won every single round. So I want to see what the people take. We'll do a little poll right here. You know what I'm saying? But back to that, man. Let me ask you a question, man. Where do both of those guys go from here? Do they rematch? Do they fight somebody else? Like where are we going with this Mike Tyson, Roy Jones thing? I mean,
honestly, I like the idea of having guys who are maybe slightly past or all the way past their prime still get an opportunity to fight. You know what I mean? It's nice to not have to match them up with people who were probably a little bit too much for them at this stage in their lives. You know what I mean? And to let them match them up together, maybe fights that could have happened in the years when they were in their prime that didn't happen can happen now with a little lighter version of it, I guess. It would be more interesting. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you could fill a card up with other good fights. Like I like the idea of having nice action fights like this with young up and comers, along with like the Legends thing, and even more fill up the card with some other legend fights too, or guys who are close to being past it and just want to compete a little bit more, have an opportunity to make a little bit more money, whatever the situation is. You know what I mean? Get out there and hopefully get an opportunity to make, like I said, make more money.
Who can Mike Tyson fight next if it ain't Roy Jones in a rematch?
Shit. I remember he was talking about Evander. I don't know.
To be honest, man, I don't like how I don't want to see Evander Holyfield fight no more.
Yeah, it's hard for me to want to see that too.
Respect to Evander, but I feel like I just don't want to see anything happen to him. So let's move on from Evander. Who else?
Heavyweight wise,
I mean, you got Shannon Briggs.
Yeah, but Shannon, I still think it's just like the thing with Roy Jones, but in a different way. Shannon's been too active in a sense, like even sparring and being in there, not active like having big fights or anything, but he's still a bit younger, and he's still in definitely better shape. You know what I mean? And I know we looked at Mike and how great Mike looked in this, how good he looked in this particular fight, but with a guy like that, it's a little different. I think he's a little bit too still spry in this point in time to jump in there with a guy like Mike at this stage. I think Mike's a little old for that. I don't want to see him take those shots at this age. You understand what I'm saying? And I just feel like that may be the case.
Who you got? So let's move forward. Who you got?
Damn, honestly, who's around? Who's around at this stage?
Huh?
Who's around? Like you look at Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe can't be doing that shit, man. Like you see Riddick Bowe, he was trying to get he ain't gonna get no license. He ain't gonna get no license for this. So I mean, let me think. I mean, who else is out there that's still actually trying to lace him up? See, the thing is, there's not a huge selection of them. There's dudes that hang around. Like you look at James, he's still hanging around, but James ain't fit for this at this stage. I don't think. You know what I mean? They've all been around longer than Mike. I mean,
you got Lennox Lewis. You got
But is Lennox really trying to do this? Now he looks fine. He's still able to play.
I think Lennox could do it.
No. There's no doubt that I think Lennox could do it, but does he want to? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we just talk about hypothetical names throwing up. Yeah, I guess Lennox would be one. But if there's Lennox, I mean, we haven't heard anything from John Ruiz. John Ruiz is still out there. I haven't heard that from him. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Who else is there that actually still kind of hang around boxing? I mean, well, they're all kind of do, but I mean, there may be some trainers out there, like some trainers that, jumped into the training thing, they might want to jump into it too. But honestly, man, nothing comes to mind. Nobody comes to mind. They would be able to step in there with me.
And how about Roy Jones, man? Like, when we saw Roy Jones training, now remember we talked about this. When we seen Roy Jones training with his trainer, he was actually doing those same funny lead punches that he likes to do. And it didn't look good to me when he was doing it on the mitts. Remember we talked about it. He literally did the same exact ones in this fight, and they weren't doing anything. Like they weren't even touching Mike Tyson. So
no.
Does Roy Jones just need to, like, all right, let's talk about Roy Jones' legacy real quick, because I was having a conversation with somebody about it. Like, if he would have retired after the first Tarver fight, he would have arguably went down as the best fighter, before Floyd Mayweather, right? He was like the Floyd Mayweather before Floyd Mayweather in a sense. Very comparable in a lot of ways. He ruined his legacy by continuing to fight. Where is Roy Jones going down as one of the greatest of all times when we compare his career as a whole? And does the first half of his career erase the second half?
Absolutely. Has to. You can't forget where he was at his height just because of what he did as a foolish old man and think he can still keep getting in there doing the same shit. You can't. Dude, that's not fair. It's not fair to his legacy. Like, you got to look at him before all that. You got to look at him when he was doing his best. You know what I'm saying? When he was really in his prime. That's when people are judged. We aren't really judging Mike on how he looked when he was on the floor.
When you look at a fighter, if we're fighting 12 rounds and you look good for the first 4 rounds, and then you fall apart the next 7 rounds or 6 rounds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We look at the fight as a whole.
But that's judging
the first 4 rounds and say you was dominating.
No, hell no. No, absolutely not.
Like that whole career, if you were dominating, if you
100%. We're not saying that part is not we're not saying that we're not counting that part or we don't see that part, but we know that that's not him. Yeah. Now in the fight.
True. I agree with you there.
Huh?
I agree with you there. That's definitely not him.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you discount what he did.
I'm talking in technicality, like when we put him down from a technicality standpoint, where does I know that he's one of the best when he's his best. But my question to you is, where does he go with everything we know, all the we have? Where does he fall?
Because at his height, nobody was fucking with Roy Jones. No one. I don't care who you were, even all with the heavyweight, with the exception of taking it too far, like trying to fight Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson. That would have been a little too far. But wasn't nobody fucking with Roy. I don't care who you were. That it just didn't happen. Look at my favorite all time is James Toney. And James Toney wasn't fucking with Roy. So what I'm saying is, if you look at him from there and then you see he made some mistakes, but even as he made the mistakes as he got older and still was fighting some of these guys, like he fought Joe Calzaghe, and then he fought I can't remember the kid at cruiserweight. He fought a couple guys at cruiserweight and got knocked out and was winning some of those fights. Now, he wasn't beating Joe Calzaghe, but he dropped him early. You know what I'm saying? Did some good stuff in the fight until, Joe Calzaghe just ended up taking over because he was just younger and better at that time. But at the height of their career, you can always say, if Roy got in there with any of those dudes he fought,
he wanted to fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but I think
at that time, because he was calling him out. He said, if I don't get the Mike Tyson fight, I retire. That's what he said after he beat Tarver.
I'm glad that he didn't get the Tyson fight at that time. Now, Tyson at that time was on his way, you know what I'm saying? But I think he wanted the Tyson fight because his confidence was super high because he was great. He was at a good time in his career, obviously, at that time. And Tyson was like on a downslide. But Tyson, even on the downside, if he puts his hands on you, and remember, Roy going up to that division ain't strong enough to hold Mike. Like right now, Mike's 54, so he's not going to be able to do the same. Plus, this is like exhibitionist type thing, so Mike ain't going to flip out on you. But in a real fight, if Mike's really trying to get him out of there, dog, you ain't holding him. Not like that. He'll let the ref get in there or whatever. He's going to be punching you on your hips. He's going to be punching you on your knee, everything. Wherever the hell he can punch you, he's going to punch you. And then when he does connect, if he connects anywhere solid, it's over at that time. Now Roy was Superman. He was all over the ring. He was super fast and quick and that, but all that shit wasn't going to keep Mike off it. That's why I'm saying, like, there's weight classes for a reason. And I think the heavyweight division, they disrespected it for too long, allowing it to be the way it is. And they ain't got two different weight classes. You ain't gonna tell me that between 200 pounds and 250 pounds, there ain't two weight classes. Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. Because look at the rest of the world. Look at the rest of the division. 7 pounds, 8 pounds. The most is cruiserweight, and that's 170, 75, or 176 to 200. That's ridiculous, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, the body mass is this versus that, and the percentage. I get it. But if you put 125 pounder or 126 pounder in there with a 147, if you put somebody like that in there with Earl Spence or fucking what's his name, Terrence T-Bar, they'll kill them because it's not fair, right? Well, what the hell are they doing at heavyweight? I'm 205 fighting 250 pounders. You know what I mean? They need to make adjustments.
Right.
You know but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the frustrating part coming out because it's like, dog, I've been fighting these monsters all this time and nobody's saying shit. And then dudes like, oh man, I had to move up from 147 to 160. I'm like, that's 13 pounds, dog. Like, come on. Like I can fucking, I've been fighting. If I fight somebody 13 pounds, it's basically the same size. Come on.
Right.
I ain't complaining, man. Whatever.
You all right? You good? You okay?
I'm good. It's just.
And we might get Eddie out of retirement a little quicker than we think. He getting worked up. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? It's just like, you look at these dudes, man. You look at a 54-year-old Mike Tyson getting in there, and then Roy Jones 50 and 51 in there, and they really get in there, no complaint.
Inspired right now? Like, are you inspired by watching those guys fight each other?
That is an inspiring thing.
Does that tell you, damn, bro, I really do got some left. I should go out there and display my work.
Without a doubt. And I think it's doing that. It's going to do that for a lot of fighters. You're going to see some dudes come. And I see it like Tavares Cloud came back. You heard about him? Like he came back. He fought, of course, a limited guy. But regardless, he still came back. A few other guys I heard came back too. And looking at this fight, it's just like, yo, man, what happens is you start seeing some of these guys, and I'm not saying all of them, because there's a lot of talented dudes out there. There's a lot of dangerous fighters out there right now. But you're seeing them, and it's like, man, hold up. This is what's out here right now. And sometimes you start to think, maybe I could compete with him. You know, you can't tell me that Mike ain't thinking like, man, I see this dude like him. That's the man right there. Man, I might be able to get him. That kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mike's 54. So don't be trying to go out there and jump in rattle Wilder's cage too much at this stage. But or Tyson Fury or AJ or any of those dudes like that. But I mean, some of these guys out here, man, honestly, got to think a little bit about what they've done in their careers and why their skill level isn't where it should be. But I'm not naming no names.
Right. What you think, man? Should we bring some people in here for a little bit of a chat, Eddie? What do you think?
Why not?
Why
not, my brother?
Or let's see here. If you guys ain't scared, click that link. I'll put the link right there. And come in here, man. Come chop it up with me and Eddie. Tell us your thoughts on the fight. If you have any boxing questions, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead. This is your opportunity to chop it up with us for a few minutes while we still on here, man. But yeah, everybody, Cyber Monday, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. Go ahead, go on the website. Take everything on there. Save money, man. You're going to get a $100 course for $25 right now. You're going to get a $250 course for $75 right now. It's a steal, man. Just go ahead. Take it, because Monday, we going right back up. Eddie, how would you have fought Mike Tyson today if it was you? What was the game plan?
First thing, I would have wanted to feel something from him. Pause. Because I really would have wanted to know what range I needed to use. And that's where a lot of times, like if I fought guys at any point, you know what I mean, depending on the fighter, I kind of wanted to feel what they were working with as far as power, and just in general, skill level, all of that. Because you can watch a fighter all day long, and when you get in there with him, it's going to be totally different. So if I'm feeling something from Mike and I'm feeling like, yeah, this is, I don't need to be sitting here too long, kind of like when I fought Sam Peter, even though I really didn't feel nothing, the advice was to keep turning. And then my mind was telling me, keep turning. And not just allow him to just sit on you.
Ask you a question about that. Because you said you would want to feel something from Mike.
Pause.
Right? But isn't that a risky approach? Because if you're going into the fight knowing now, look, we're gonna go ahead and assume that Mike Tyson and you are the same age, like Roy Jones is when he fights Mike. So you're going into the fight knowing that he possesses a certain kind of power.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it risky to go in there and allow Mike to get off so you can feel power? Wouldn't it have been smarter to do what you did with Sam Peter, which was establish your jab from the very beginning where he get off?
I'm not saying that I'm walking in there like, hey, Mike, let me feel that on my arm. Nah, I'm good. I ain't saying that. I'm saying through the course of the round, make certain things available, give him a shot, give him an opportunity, take it away type thing, and maybe let him land a shot on my arm so I know. I've done that in almost every professional fight I've had. I've done it in almost every sparring session I've had. And you got to always be on guard, no doubt. You can't play around and think just because you want to test something or you want to see how it feels. No, you can't be stupid about it. But you do allow certain things to happen, maybe that you wouldn't. Like I wouldn't stand there and just let a dude hit me normally. But I want to kind of feel. I'll let a shot come, feel it on my arm a little bit, ride with it, just to kind of see if even if I ride with it, I still feel it. Like ooh, like when I was sparring with Shannon. When I sparred with Shannon, he didn't land a clean shot. That made me say, damn. Yeah, I caught that shit.
That's when you said to yourself, I'm not going to allow him to hit me again.
Dog, he threw a shot, a hook right hand, boom, boom. And I kind of had to catch it here because my hand didn't come up in time. Because he's faster than people don't know. Shannon, the reason why he hits so hard is he's a big, strong dude already, but he's explosive too. Like he got the explosive asset too, where his hips, his torque with his hip and coming from his legs and all that. He knows how to generate power, like explosive power.
Two-time world champion, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, and I've been in there with many world champions, many, sparring and otherwise, fights too. And ain't nobody put something on me that made me think like, man, I can't take too much more of that shit. Like for real. Like to where I'm like, I've been in there and expecting somebody to hit me with a baseball bat with nails on it, and they hit me, and I'm like, that's it?
Right.
Like I can't tell you the amount of times that happened. So when he did it, and I'm expecting it to be like, it's gonna probably be tough, but it ain't gonna be like anything. It was like boom, and we had 18s on it. I'm like, yo, this shit ain't crazy. This is crazy. And I'm sitting in there like, hold up, this motherfucker like what is he trying to prove? And then he did it through some other shit. Hit me with 2 shots, like, and they were like on my arm, my shoulder, and one was like here, and boom, I was like, whoo. And he hit me. I was like, this motherfucker trying to hurt me. That switch was like, and I said, I'm gonna fucking kill this nigga. Like, straight up. Like, I don't know if Shannon know we was talking, we cool, that's my man. But he hit me like he was trying to send me home.
Right.
Not necessarily walking either. Like he was trying to send me home and maybe carrying me.
All right, I seen Shannon hurt some guys, but let's bring in a few people. I got a couple people here waiting. Let's start with my man. He was online. What's going on? The Black Terminator. You there?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you. You good?
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on, Eddie? What's going on, Coach? God bless y'all today, man. How y'all doing?
Yeah, so what's up, man? Talk to us. We got a lot of people. I want to hear what's on your mind.
Yeah, man. First of all, I just want to speak on the Tyson Roy Jones thing first and foremost. I feel like Tyson walked away with the win simply because of effective aggression, due to, you know what I'm saying, how the ref judged the fight. I feel like he was pushing the action, even though Roy was tying up for his life, you know what I'm saying, because he felt that power and he said he did. But besides the fact, I really felt like, Tyson looked a lot better. Roy, he still got the hand speed, but the legs ain't there. And for the other fighter, the Jake Paul Nate thing, I kind of feel like that was a mismatch. And for me personally, but you know what I'm saying, just me personally, I feel like my opinion, you know what I'm saying, I feel like he's a YouTube journeyman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't trying to disrespect the cat because I know he's putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? And I've you know, I've fought in the time being as an amateur. I'm not a pro, still an amateur, whatnot. But besides that, I feel like he needs to fight somebody that's actually a boxer to get that credibility. But you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? However he make his money, you know, that's how he make his money. I just feel like fighting somebody 5'9" and somebody that's 6'1", of course I'm gonna catch you with an overhand right because you're gonna run right into it. I'm gonna step back, I'm gonna feint you, and then soon you lunge, I'm gonna hit you because your chin right there, you ain't walking in with your hands up, you walking in with your neck out. So you're gonna get caught. So that's the first right. That's the first thing. And you know, as far as like Badu Jack, you know what I'm saying, he fought Buddy. That was a good fight as well. And man, like I said, you know, I feel like Tyson he could take on a lot of the up and coming heavyweights. But as far as like dudes from like you know what I'm saying, early 2000s, it's a lot of names out there that he can fight. But you know what I'm saying, it's all about if they want to step up and you know, step to Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Roy Jones, he probably just gonna, you know, he probably ain't gonna really come back if he do it. It just be, you know, what I'm saying, somebody under him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, man, you got a good analysis, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that everything you said, we pretty much agree with you, man. You know what I mean?
it was good.
We pretty much agree with you, man, on everything you're saying, man. But yo, thank you for coming on here, my brother. Take care.
You too, man.
All right,
Good work, man.
all right, take care.
All right.
Let's go ahead. Let's bring in my other man, Tuck, right here. What's good, Tuck?
What's happening, Coach? What's happening, Fast Eddie?
What's
Philly
going on,
home.
man?
I'm a Philly native too. I dig it.
Oh yeah. What's up?
Yeah. So what you see?
So I'm just gonna comment on the Tyson Jones fight. So I got off the fight and I jumped on Facebook and everything, and I'm looking at all the comments and everything, and I'm just sitting there, just kind of. I've been boxing for 13 years. Been in the gym. I'm a gym rat by that sort. I don't fight anymore. But I'm looking at it, I'm just like, it's so much of a power difference between Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, considering that Mike Tyson is a naturally heavier guy. Roy Jones is, I mean, yes, he's younger, but I mean, you just got to think about that type of stuff. Everybody's talking about, oh, Roy was hugging. Roy was throwing punches inside the hug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's still doing work. It's not like he was just standing there just leaning, not throwing anything. So it's like, what can you really do when you're going up against somebody like Mike Tyson with such a power difference and a smaller ring? You're in a smaller ring than normal.
I think Eddie be the perfect person to handle that question. He fought a whole career doing that. Go ahead, Eddie.
With guys who were much bigger punchers, sadly enough. But what Roy could have done, I mean, that is a small ring. And I had to fight Sam Peter in a similar size ring. And
I remember that fight.
That ring was every bit as small as the one they had in there, straight up. It was on a stage. It was like, I was like, is this a sparring session or is this a fight? And it was a puncher's ring. It was a soft mat. So that thing was and I'm not a mover, really. So what I had to do was I had to turn him. Roy could have done that a little bit, a little more slightly at range.
Back a second, Eddie, because you just gave a jewel that I know a lot of people who never really fought professional boxing before, they don't know about. Talk about that soft ring.
Oh, that soft ring it's a nice thing that promoters and managers and people like to set up when they know they got a puncher who don't move real well. And on top of that, having a small ring so it doesn't give you a lot of space to maneuver. The soft ring keeps your feet sunk in. So if
I've noticed that because the gym that I go to, they have one. And
you ring,
you
right?
can move real good on the outside of the ring when you just standing on the ground, shadow boxing and stuff. But when you jump in that ring and you go to try and move, you don't move nearly as far. And it cuts off your distance.
And not only that, too, keep this in mind. If you moving around there, you trying to move fast and you wasting all that energy trying to get around there, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, you're gonna be like, yo, why is my legs burning so much? Why is they so heavy? because you're putting a lot more effort into your movement. You know what I mean? On top of this, dude trying to close the distance. And if the ring is small, he's putting his hands on you too. And if he's putting his hands on you, laying on you, pushing you, the whole fight's going to be out of you. So when I fought Sam Peter in that little puncher's ring, you got to take smaller steps, take less range, and just turn him. Every time he sets the punch, pop a jab in his face, offset his rhythm, start to move slightly. You ain't got to move real big or real fast. Let him throw a heavy shot that he's going to throw, come off balance like he was going to do, and then start to turn. Start to slide that angle a little bit. Give him a little fake in one direction, move the other. You ain't got to use the whole ring. If you watch me and Sam Peter fight, at very few times that you see me necessarily on the ropes. It happened a few times here and there, but it wasn't a lot of reps. I didn't come off the ropes trying to fight. Nah, you don't do that shit. You just keep him turned. Now, the thing that makes it difficult with Mike is that Mike is really good on angles. So you're going to have to let Mike throw a shot. If you can get by one,
he showed
him
angles today, some good slipping. He really some of the stuff that he used to do back in the day. I was real impressed with the fact that he was able to time some of them slips. He'll slip the angle real quick. Stuff that him do that's signature Mike Tyson.
Great stuff.
I thought Roy Jones failed, and I hate to say this because we all know the situation, but he just failed at establishing a jab. He didn't really use the jab. Every time that Mike Tyson kind of came in, the first reaction for him was to tie up. And
you know why, Ed?
Yeah, because he felt he was going to get caught.
How about that?
Yeah, he felt he was going to get caught. But I'm just saying, that's why I feel like even the little work that he was doing on the inside was ineffective. Like it was more Mike Tyson being the aggressor, pressing the action, landing the better shots, you know what I mean?
Mike Tyson definitely, in my opinion, I feel like Mike Tyson definitely pressed the action. He landed the harder shots, and and in all actuality, he won the fight. I'm just saying, just for like the sake of, I analyze this type of stuff. I watch this stuff all the time. I've been a fan of Fast Eddie since I was living in Philly 15, 20 years ago. Like I always watch all of this stuff. I pay attention to Coach Anthony coaching everything. So it's just like I'm looking at the comments and it's like nobody's giving Roy his credit to actually be doing the work that he did, considering that he tried to play a game with somebody that's so much more powerful than him.
I see what you're saying.
And it's just like, Roy was hugging. Okay.
I think we just all expected more from Roy Jones because Roy Jones is so great. And I expected that Roy Jones, considering that he's been more active as a professional fighter in the last
more recent,
he didn't ever let himself get completely out of shape like Mike Tyson, and he still be in the gym and he still be doing stuff. I just expected him to be a little bit more effective than what I saw tonight. I didn't expect a guy like Mike, who basically didn't lace up a pair of gloves for 15 years, to come back and look at it. I was pretty surprised. I'm going to be honest.
I look at it as mileage also, though. I mean, that's also mileage on his legs. And, Roy ain't never really been the conventional boxer, so he's always been relying on his reaction time and athleticism to get him out of those scrapes. That's all mileage on his legs. Mike Tyson has never really been. He's been more of a conventional boxer than Roy has, and he's been a power puncher. So everything plays off angles and explosiveness. So it's like, come on, bro, like y'all not giving my man Roy no credit. I'm a fan of both of them. I feel like the sport won and the culture won, but the event itself was. It was cool. It just I wasn't really looking for either one of them to really do any real damage.
I agree with you. The culture definitely won.
Yeah, definitely. I think
the whole card was done properly, man. I thought that the way they had it set up was dope. I thought the way that, even from the lighting to just the way they were, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just thought the whole event was dope. I'm like, this is the best.
The performances, all that. I like that.
Yeah. I was digging the lighting and everything too. I was checking all of it, the red and the blue corner lighting and all of that stuff. I was like, okay, that's dope. Y'all stepped it up for this.
But this is entertainment. That's what it's all about. It's entertainment.
Big match, everybody evenly. You know what I'm saying? Except for Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? Everybody pretty much in a nice competitive fight. Even Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. I mean, this me thinking that Roy lost basically every round. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't
like knock him out or drop him.
Not at all.
You had to give the round to somebody. Who do you give it to? I'm going Tyson was, punching on the way in and just doing the better stuff. But it was no blowout by any means. Roy Jones still, showed veteran crafty moves by tying up and keeping his head off the center and doing things like that. So, hey, man, like you said it best, man, the culture won. And, I'm happy to be able to see both them guys come out the ring healthy, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because
I was quite content with that. And even in the post-fight interview, they both handled it like gentlemen. Nobody was talking noise, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gave respect. Like, yo, you took the punch, this and this and this and this. You was able to keep it going, so on and so forth. Roy didn't quit. Like, you can see in probably the third or fourth round, you saw Roy take a hard body shot from Tyson, and he reeled back from it, and then got around and was still able to come back and throw his own stuff. So it's like, come on, bro. It ain't even a whole lot of people in Mike Tyson's prime that was able to take a shot like that and be able to still come back from it, let alone somebody that's naturally smaller.
Right.
That's why I was surprised too. In general, he was taking shots from Mike, regardless of 54 or not. Him still taking some of those shots he was taking, even though he was riding some of them. Some of those shots were definitely dangerous and looked like they could have taken him out. Especially a couple of times he tried to exchange, which was not advisable, but he did it anyway. That shit almost was the wrong time. That was the wrong thing to do. But like I said, like you said, I like what you said. Culture won. Performances were great. The event itself was perfect. You know what I mean? I think for what it represented, even my man Nate getting destroyed like that, he shouldn't have been in there at this point. He needed to learn more about the sport and understand it before he jumped in there. But in general, the card was a winner. I felt like it was a W, so that's good.
Eddie, hold up. Yo, I got to bring more people in, but yo, Tuck, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. You're very knowledgeable, man. We appreciate you.
All right. Y'all fellas have a nice night, man. Y'all be easy.
Take care.
You too, bro. All right.
Yeah, Eddie. So, yeah, man, it's always dope to see people come on here who, love the game, who love the sport, who really analyze things. And, I know a lot of people are diehard Roy Jones fans, as I am. When I was boxing as an amateur, Roy Jones Jr.
was that dude.
Was one of the main people that inspired me, especially with that right hand lead. Like the right hand lead, I mean, I stole that punch from him. You know what I'm saying? If I gotta be honest, I stole that from Roy. You know what I mean? And I was able to utilize that myself, and nobody taught it to me. I just watched Roy Jones do it, and that's how I got good at it. Just like I got good at fighting with my hands up high by watching Winky Wright. I mean, nobody had no trainers was like stand there and do it. I used to watch so much Winky Wright that I embodied his defense whenever I run into a guy that was faster than me and stuff like that. So, there's certain fighters that just inspire you and you actually learn from them without them actually teaching you. And Roy Jones was definitely one of those guys who I learned from just watching him over the years. So I could never shit on him. But I'm just gonna say, man, Mike Tyson is, what can you say, man? Like,
as advertised.
Yeah,
he's Mike Tyson.
Bro, I'm happy to see that Mike Tyson can come out of that dark place he was in.
Yeah, it's inspiring to a lot of people who were in bad places.
He was in a bad place, and he had turmoil that's deeper than boxing. Like, and he lost his child, and what I'm saying. And like that, people can never ever imagine going through in one lifetime. From being on top to the bottom, literally.
Meteoric rise, meteoric fall, man.
Lifetime. You know what I mean? Most people don't know like to touch both. People start here, you know what I'm saying, and they go here, but Tyson went here, and he's been down here, and now he's back up here, and it's just like, wow, what an human being to be able to do that, man.
You want to learn something? You want to get some history lessons for real, really understand where the bottom is, where the top is, and everywhere in between? Sit down and talk to Mike. He'll give you a crash fucking course on everything about life.
Yeah, like if I was ever in a room with Mike Tyson, I would just, and not because I'm fearful. I just do this because educate me, because there's no way you can compare what I've been through to what he's been through. Like you want to talk about money? How much money you want to talk about? You want to talk about being poor? Or you want to talk about jail time? Or you talk about being falsely accused of some shit? You feel me?
Drug game, everything.
Boy, look, I'm mad that I'm about 20, 25 pounds heavier than I want to be. Man, he lost 100 pounds, got back in the ring, and looked phenomenal.
At 54.
Who can do that? Who can do that all in one lifetime, bro? Seriously.
Obviously, what that tells you is that all of this shit that you think you can't do, that you keep putting limiters on yourself. And listen, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. If you want to turn pro right now, and you can turn pro right now. This motherfucker did it at 54. Granted, he got a lot of people behind him. He had a lot of money. He had a lot of experience. But why can't you do it? You got the same. You got ability. You know what I mean? You was a pro fighter that just never turned. Why not? Why not me? Why can't I turn pro? I mean, not turn pro. Why can't I go back in there and fight again? Why can't I get a title fight? Why is it impossible? No, it's not impossible.
It all comes down to what you really want. Like,
do you want? Yes.
If I wanted that, I would definitely think about how can I figure a way out to go pro, fight a guy like a Jake Paul or somebody and make money.
You could be Jake Paul right now, Ant?
Huh?
You don't think you could be Jake Paul right now, Ant?
Oh, if I started training, absolutely. I take him to school.
You could beat Jake Paul right now without training, Ant. Seriously.
No. But my point is, you gotta want that, right? Like for me,
if you don't want it, I feel like you can still beat him.
No, yeah, that's true. I probably don't need to want it to beat Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? You know what, Jake Paul, man? Let's make it happen. Coach Anthony versus Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it.
Listen,
but listen,
it's not fair, but okay.
Paul, though, if I lose to Jake Paul, it's not going to be good for Coach Anthony boxing. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be good.
It would be my fault for bringing this shit up, yo. Nah.
But listen, I would never let that happen, man. You be in my corner. No. I would never let that happen.
No, I would never let that happen. I'm like, if you don't do that shit, I'm tagging in, nigga.
You got to want that. Like, for me, my personal goals right now is to be a world top level trainer. So it's like I made that shift. I remember when I first started coaching, I was still sparring people and doing stuff because I didn't quite make that shift from fighter to coach yet. It took like 3 years, bro. It took 3 years because I had this thing inside of me that I never, like a void that I never filled because I wanted to be a pro, but circumstances, I had injuries. I didn't have the discipline. I was working the nightclubs and I was just like, my life wasn't allowing me. I didn't have nobody pushing me to be a professional boxer. So when I opened the gym and became a professional trainer, I was still like, I want to be a fighter deep down, but now I'm being a trainer. But then I fell in love with being a trainer. And like, I don't even think about actually boxing nobody no more. I think about how can I teach? How can I be a better teacher? Like I put all that energy into wanting to just like articulate the sport. And it's crazy how the shift is. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still down to, punch somebody in the face if I got to, that. But that's not who I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be one of the great teachers of this game. I want to go down with the custom models and the top and the Emmanuel Stewart's one day. I want people to say, man, that guy's a phenomenal teacher. So, that's where my energy goes. But if you want to be a fighter, you got to put your energy into fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And just because, and if you want to, and if you really want it, just like you said, no matter what it is, if you really want it and you can put the time into it, you'll be fine. You may not get exactly where you want, but you're going to get exactly where you need to get.
Right. Hold on. We got a special guest right here. We got a special guest.
Yo, what's good?
We need you to put your camera on, man. I don't know if you're a real person. We need you to put your camera on.
Where's Tricks the barber at? I need a cut before I do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He's a real human being. Okay, what's up, man? How can we help you?
Man, come on. They got people in the comments saying they need to get off the couch, can't even do 10 push-ups. Come on, do 10 push-ups, Eddie.
10 push-ups.
We're not doing this tonight. We're not doing this on Coach Andy.
Hey, so I could do 50 straight, sucker. What's up?
Yo, listen, Eddie. You know what's funny about you? What makes you such a unique person in this game? What's so unique is you don't have the fighter's aura of like a guy who could, potentially really hurt you or whatever. And you've even shown compassion. I've seen you show compassion in the ring where you don't even want to take advantage of situations that you can. But I've also seen a side of you where you do have that killer instinct, but it's like it only comes out in, a competitive situation. I remember we had a guy from Baltimore, I forget his name, and he sparred you, and he was actually good. He was like, I think at the time he was 10-0 or something like that. He came to box you, and he really came. I really think he thought you was washed up. I really thought
he said that. He said, I thought he was done.
I mean, so guys, this is a backstory. We ain't gonna say names because what happens in the gym stays in the gym. That's kind of like a boxing thing, but we can't tell a story without saying a name, right? So an anonymous story. But this gentleman that came to spar Eddie was a professional fighter. I believe he was 10-0, or even a little bit better. But he had a fight coming up. And he asked Eddie to spar, and Eddie was like, all right, I'll give you some work, you know what I mean? Didn't charge him for the work, you know what I mean? Old school, you need help, I'll help you out. The kid came aggressive. He was ready to really, really, really work. And that's cool. That's the game, right? We ain't mad at that. But I had to see Eddie turn to that next level of shift. And I think that's the first time I've seen that from you in person with me in your corner because, of course I've seen you on television, boxing, stuff like that, but I didn't coach you through your career. I got you toward, the end of your career. And I seen you do that in person. I was just like, you do got that inside of you. How is it that you are able to control that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, to be honest, man, look, what really got it out of me in that particular time is like, when you're sparring with somebody, right? The idea is all respect. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have any issues in the gym. There's always that one dude, and I see that shit all the time because I play ball. I love to play ball, so I'm out playing ball. And for whatever reason, niggas got attitudes on the court. I apologize for being a little niggerish right now, but niggas got issues on the court where they don't even know who you are, and they got attitude. It's like, nigga, you step over this line, 1 second, that could be the end for you. One shot can end your life. Yeah, your boys, like your 30 dudes might get me in the end, but I'm going to get you. You know what I'm saying? And they have these attitudes. But anyway, certain dudes had these attitudes in the gym. Now, it don't always happen because fighters don't really need to have that because they already have that. We're getting in the ring fighting anyway. So what's the point in acting all tough? If you got a problem with me, let's just get it out here. But this dude, for whatever reason, had a little bit of an attitude, and I could smell it. I could smell it when we was in there. And I'm sitting there like, okay, well, I'm going to give him a chance to kind of be cool or whatever. So he gets into the ring and we sparring and, we tap gloves, everything normal. And I threw a couple shots and I think it might have been even going to the second round. And he, I hit him with a combination. I threw a combination at him. And I think I landed every shot on him. But then I did it again and I guess he blocked it a little bit. I guess he got a little confident thinking that's all I had. And I did it again. And I did it again. And it kept being effective in a sense where it kept him at bay. Then the nigga got nerve to say, damn, you gonna do something else? And I was like,
I don't remember details, but
I remember that shit because I remember that's what set me off. I was like, oh, so you want me to do something else? I was like, all right. So every time I hit him with a combination or a shot, I was like, that good, that different? Oh, you want this one? Boom. All right. Oh, so you want this one? Bop, bop. You want that one? Oh, how about this one? Bang. And I was saying a little shit. I don't know if you remember it, but I was like, is that cool? You good with that? And then the nigga at the end of the sparring was like, damn, I ain't know you was, I thought you was done, dog. I was like, damn, I apologize about that shit. You don't remember that shit? He's like, I apologize about that shit, man, because I thought you was done.
Really humble at the end of it. But you know, it's just funny because you know what I'm saying. The amount of patience and like I don't know, man. Do you think it was an experience? Because you know, a lot of people see a professional fighter and they don't realize that he's a pro, but he's still a baby. Like I see pros,
exactly.
Like it's crazy. Like I see pros. Look, I've never fought professional. And Eddie vouched for me on this. There's guys right now professional that I'd smack around. Like it is crazy.
What?
Like, you be like, you're
Jake Paul's professional right now.
Like you're a pro and you don't know how to do this. Like I can't tell you.
What did you say, man?
Huh?
What did you say? Jake Paul's a pro.
Well, that's a
pro. How many pros out like him? There's a lot of them dudes.
You know what's crazy? There's other pros like Jake Paul that aren't. You know, they are. And no disrespect to Jake Paul. Listen. No,
I don't want to
disrespect to Jake Paul. Listen, he did his thing tonight. I want to talk to Jake Paul. I don't want to discredit himself.
It's just he's a novice.
But at the same time, he's to guys like me and Eddie, he's not a professional. He is a amateur that is just making money with his shirt off and he's fighting. He's really not a professional. I feel like boxing needs to have some kind of a criteria before you turn professional. You need at least this many amateur fights. You need at least this many years of experience. You can't just walk into City Hall and decide you're going to be a professional fighter. To me, that's just like, I don't know how that way, man. But it is
disrespectful.
Huh?
Let me tell you how it's disrespectful. I used to I got when I first started boxing at 13. We were broke, dirt poor. We had nothing. So when I started boxing, I was delivering newspapers. I spent 4 years amateur. Now I still was training 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. I would get up to go to school and I would barely get any sleep. Still training 2 or 3 times a day. I turned pro, still delivering papers. On the day of my fight, I would be delivering fucking papers. It was 7 days a week. There was no off time. Nothing. When you work that, and then as hard as I was working, when you work that hard and you go through all of that bullshit because you ain't got nothing, but you literally have to do this. And you see a nigga just because he got some fucking internet fame, now he think he could just go and put gloves on. That upsets me a little bit. That upsets me. I'll tell you why, man. Because he ain't had to go through shit. Now, I ain't saying he ain't gone through shit in his life. That's another whole story. But he got his rise to fame in another way. Now he gonna say, boxing? Oh, yeah. Because I got money, I can box now. Can that motherfucker go play in the NBA right now? Fuck no, he can't play in the NBA right now. Can he go play in the NFL right now? No, fuck no, he can't play in that. He ain't got no resume. I got a better shot right now at trying to make it than he do. But no, I don't. Because I'm a fucking real pro athlete. I've done it. But guess what? I can't go play in the NBA. Why can Nate Robinson come and fight now in the any sanctioning organization? Why can't he? I ain't disrespecting none of them. I ain't saying they don't deserve whatever they get and whatever they have in their life. But they're coming into another world when it can't be in reverse. Like no other sport can you do that in. Why is boxing why is it okay? And why is this sport the sport they fucking choose? You can die in there. You can fucking die. Look at the deaths that happened this year. Last year.
I can't be mad at the Jake Pauls and the Logans and all of them guys. You gotta be mad at the boxing, the people.
No.
Because it's like
I'm not blaming them.
Listen, it's cool. Listen, Jake Paul, you want to go pro?
Yeah.
Go ahead, pick up 15 amateur fights. Yeah. Go criteria. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, fight 2 minimum Golden Glove tournament. Yeah. There should be some sort of a criteria for anybody, including myself, anybody. You want to be a professional boxer. How do you become a professional at anything? You can't even be a professional at anything without going through some kind of a school, some kind of a trade. You know what I mean? So, but for boxing, for you to just be a YouTuber and say, I'm going to be a professional. No. Now, listen, if you're a professional, if you're a YouTuber and you generate a lot of money and you want to fight on television, then yes, you can do exhibitions. But to be able to be on BoxRec to
It's
be
a
able
fucking 2-0 pro.
legitimate professional boxer, that is real disrespectful to the sport of boxing, because now, you know, anybody could be a professional. Listen, I can go right now, go sign up to be a professional boxer and then not fight. And I think I'll pop up on BoxRec as a professional boxer, like my name will be there. But I didn't even
You were supposed to fight TBA and never showed up for it.
TBA to be announced, and then you'll see me on there. Oh yeah, I'm a pro. How many fights you got? I'm undefeated. I fought never. You know,
right. They never lost. But I ain't never won, but I ain't never lost either.
You feel me? And I'm a pro now. Like, that's corny. Like, you need to be able to at least prove. Listen, I've fought. Now I think if it takes 10 fights to become an open fighter, then you should go open at least 5 fights, and then you can go pro. At least 50 fights. You know what I'm saying?
Prove you fucking thing.
If you turn open after 5, then you only need 10. But you need to at least have 5 open class bouts on record, win, lose, or draw, before you go ahead and turn professional. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. You know what I mean?
Well, because look at Nate Robinson.
Different tiers, right? Because you got Olympian. Okay, you're an Olympian, then you're at a different level. It's kind of like a Harvard graduate versus a community graduate. You know what I mean?
I got the perfect example. Look at Chaz Witherspoon. Chaz Witherspoon started boxing, and he was a hard motherfucker to deal with. And I was already a seasoned pro.
He used to come to the gym all the time. Chaz
but not even now. I'm talking about when he first started. Because him and Lawan was sparring all the time. And Lawan, you know, Lawan don't stop throwing punches. Lawan Simon, shout out. And Chaz, too. So when I sparred with Chaz, this motherfucker coming in, and he would throw punches without stopping. And I just couldn't understand, how is this dude this big, 6'4", like 250 pounds, throwing fucking punches without stopping, and literally without stopping, throwing 120 punches around in a sparring session. I'm like, what the fuck? So, but he turned pro after what, his first year and a half. But he went and fought in the Olympics and was almost made it to be an Olympic alternate his first year. But he went through something. He went through a whole tournament, literally almost was an Olympian. Went through a stage. Why did he become a decent pro? Because he went through that stage. If he would have just turned pro, may not have been good enough. May have gotten stopped early. You know what I mean? Maybe would have lost his opportunity. Maybe would have quit. But he went through that stage to become a decent pro. And as he got opportunity, he actually became a pretty good pro. You understand what I'm saying? These guys who are YouTubers, no disrespect to them. If they get wherever they get, I'm happy for them. But if you come through that stage, you go through that learning curve, you have fights, because what happens is in the amateurs, when you fight in the amateurs, you fight good guys every night when you go to the tournament. Every night you fight one guy in the first round. If you're lucky enough, you'll get to the next round. It'll be a little easier. But most of the time it gets harder as you get to the finals if you continue to make it. And you're fighting a tough guy every night. So it ain't gonna get no fucking easier, really. You know what I'm saying? So that will prepare you for what you're facing in the pros. But a lot of these guys skip that. They skip that step. And that's why you look at what Nate Robinson is like, yo, he's a phenomenal athlete. If somebody would have really got to him and maybe put a year or two in before he got in there, he would have had a better shot.
He would have been able to beat Jake with the right time. Somebody DM'd me and said, yo, man, Coach Ant, you would have been in his corner, he would have won. And I told him, I said, he needed more time. If I had more time, he could have won. But to give me him and say you got to get him ready in 6 weeks, I mean, you're going against Jake Paul, who's been training obviously 2 years at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different situation, man. So for all you guys out there who think that you could just jump in the ring, even with an amateur, like an amateur with 2 years boxing experience, no fights, maybe he just been sparring, you're already at a disadvantage. You're already at a disadvantage. That's why it's funny to me when I hear people disrespect professional fighters who are 500 fighters, 10-10, 5-5, but they've never even fought. Oh, look at this bum. And it's like, dog, that guy will look like Floyd Mayweather against you, dummy. You think what I'm saying? Like, I'll take that bum that you call the bum, put you in the ring with him, and he will literally shoulder, turn you, jab you up, and you'll be like, what the hell? I must really be a bum. People don't understand the levels to this game. They don't understand how difficult this game is, because Everything looks easy from the outside. You feel me? Everything looks easy from the outside.
Because look, and this is why I think boxing is one of the most disrespected sports. It's just constantly being disrespected. No one, and I repeat, no one would have ever say, man, check up. I'll guard LeBron right now, and he'll no, because LeBron will bust your ass. And he would not even have to try, and he would score every time, right? But why do people say, oh man, I think I can get in the ring and box? Why? What? The only person they wouldn't do that with is they would say, okay, Mike Tyson, nah, because Mike Tyson knocked you out one shot. And that's only from reputation. But everybody else, me, I'll step in the ring with that dude. You don't even like to fight anyway. The biggest mistake you ever made in your fucking life.
If I take a guy off the streets with no fights and put him in there with a guy like Paulie Malignaggi, who got barely any knockouts, Paulie's getting a knockout that day.
See what I mean?
You know what I mean? And Paulie Malignaggi is the guy who doesn't get knockouts. He's getting a knockout that day. He might get a devastating knockout.
Exactly.
Very bad. You feel me?
It's like we was watching the fight, and I really liked Israel Adesanya's commentary, by the way. And he kept saying, there's levels to this shit. And it really is. Combat sports is different than any other business. Any other business. You can get hurt in there for real. Now, you can get hurt in other sports, but you don't play boxing. You don't play MMA. These are gladiator sports. These are things that people don't do. And then you look at a guy like me, like, how did you get into this shit? Like, you don't seem like you could kill anybody. But the reality of it is, man, there's always that switch. You just got to find yours. You know what I'm saying? And there's been a few times I found mine. And the switch doesn't turn you into like this rabid dog where you're just trying to go, you're not thinking, you're just trying to kill. I mean, that happens every once in a while. But the reality of it is you become calculated, you become dangerous, you become a legitimate killer, like a sniper. You know what I'm saying? Or like a fucking a Navy SEAL or something. Like you go in fucking rogue, you gonna kill a motherfucker, you gonna slit their throat. That's the kind of attitude you have when you're in there. It's like it's kill or be killed. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, but it's calculated. You know what I'm saying? Like people think about fighters as stupid.
Right.
Stupid my ass. Okay. The stupid motherfucker's the one taking all the punches and standing there letting it happen and not able to do anything back. Nah, you look at Floyd Mayweather. He's a certified technician. I mean, killer, whatever you want to call it. Anything you could think of. Like he's like one of those dudes to be in all black, sneak up behind you, cut your throat. You won't even never know he was there. That's the kind of dude that is. So don't walk up to him in the street feeling like it's gonna be cool. Because next thing you'll know, you'll be looking up like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Or you might be dead.
Right.
It's just in the real. So
yeah.
I just feel like this sport has been disrespected so long. And people respect MMA because, oh shit, that looks like street fight. But there's calculated motherfuckers in that, and they're dangerous because they can do it in so many different ways too.
And it's all difficult, man. You know what I mean? It's all difficult. None of this stuff is easy, man. Boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, none of it. Taekwondo, none of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go against the best of the best, you're gonna know that you're in there with somebody who can fight, regardless of what style you do. You know what I mean? Of course, you have guys who could beat other guys from different styles or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. But for the most part, if you're a high level or a professional level fighter, no matter what discipline you choose, you know what I mean? You're difficult, man. It's crazy, man. It's just like you said, fighters are the most disrespected people because you could take any man off the street right now and say, can you fight? And he'll say, yeah. And he's never even fought before. I can't tell you how many men I've met in my life, 30 plus years old, never been in a street fight, never been in a boxing match, never. And they are the toughest guys. Oh, I'll do this. Oh, I'll whoop you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, my man, you've never even tested yourself. You're almost 40. Like I've had more street fights by the age of 13 growing up in New York City than fucking these motherfuckers had in 37, 40 years of being on earth. And it's just like, where do you get the audacity? You've never even been in a fight. And then to let alone go to a boxing match. You know what I mean? Boxing is totally different from fighting. We already know that. That's even more difficult. If you ask me, boxing is more difficult than street fighting. You know what I mean? Street fighting
is one
body out quick. That same combination, the guy's still in front of you, and now you gotta deal with what am I gonna do now? You know what I'm saying? Damn comes into play, all this other stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, street fights can be difficult because you got weapons and you got other things to look for. But at the same time, if you're gonna go ahead and ask me which one is a tougher thing to deal with, boxing matches, because you got to deal with the conditioning and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Street fighting is more dangerous. If I had to ask, street fighting is probably more dangerous because of the other components, but boxing has to be more difficult. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's funny, man. You know what I mean? You can't, we could talk about this all day because you already know you're never going to get to the end of that. You know what I mean?
Never. And you're always going to have people, just like you said, and I can't tell you the motherfucker, man, nigga, I ain't worried about street fight, nigga. I don't give a fuck about that boxing shit. Oh, for real? All right. You put down $50. If I can't beat your ass, you can do whatever you want. You can I'll put down $50. I'll put down $100. If I can't beat your ass, you can take that $100. All right. I bet you 100 motherfuckers will be laying on their ass or sitting on their ass or gassed out because they couldn't land a shot.
Oh, you talking about you're not punching back?
If I'm not punching back.
Oh, yeah.
Only if I'm not punching back. Nigga, there was a guy that was a YouTuber, right? And he would say, all right, if he came with, I think he had money, he would give him the gloves. He'd put the gloves on him, like, hey, you ever boxed before? And they're like, oh, I did a little bit. You tough guy. All right, check it out. I'll give you this $50 or this $100 if you can land a shot on him. I can't tell you the amount of times motherfuckers didn't even land a shot on him.
Oh, yeah. What are you talking about? He was doing
all of his movement and all that shit. And he didn't even throw a punch back. So imagine them same motherfuckers trying to have a street fight with you. Come on. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
But yeah, man, we're gonna end it on that note, man. Guys, just respect the game. Respect the game. Respect boxing. Respect MMA. Respect these guys tonight, man. And you respect Roy Jones. Respect Mike Tyson. Yo, even respect the Jake Paul. Whatever. Was it Logan Paul?
No, it was Jake. It was Jake and Nate Robinson. Respect
to them two guys. You know what I mean? I don't care what their skill level is. At the end of the day, they went under the lights. They took the risk. And that alone brings a lot of anxiety. You got people who are scared to talk in front of people. I know the most toughest people be like, yo, talk on this camera.
Like this. Oh, shit.
Nervous. They nervous. They can't even talk. Then you have two men putting their hands and their body on the line, punching and doing all of that. And it's just like, if you're scared to talk, you mean I'm gonna believe that you're not afraid to get into that ring and fight somebody in front of all these people or cameras or whatever? So big shout out to even to Jake Paul and my man who got hurt today. What's his name? Nate Robinson. Big shout out to him because at the end of the day, he's gonna always have to remember that knockout that he took today. He's gonna always have to look on that. People are gonna always bring it up. Yo, man. Yo, man, you all right, man? Yo, you were doing all right, but then you got caught, or what I'm saying?
They can say what they want, though. They can say what they want.
Eddie, no disrespect, you've been knocked out before.
Yeah, of course.
How difficult was it for you to get over the knockout? And how difficult is it for you considering all the top people you fought? Samuel Peters, Calvin Brock, man, the list goes on, man. You fought a lot of guys, man. Adam, what's the tall 6'6" guy you fought?
Which one? The recent one?
The one that you beat, Demetrenko.
Demetrenko, 6'6", yeah.
Guys that you fought that were the top of the food chain, and people will say, "Yo, man, I saw you fight Vladimir Klitschko," and they want to bring up that one. Like, how? I know I'm getting personal with you, but how frustrating is that? When that's the fight people want to remember you by, as opposed to remember you by all the top people you beat, with all the disadvantages you had being, 30, 40 pounds, 6 inches shorter reach, all that. Like, what does that tell you about a person? And what does that tell you? And how do you feel?
Honestly, man, dealing with, I'm gonna say this before it happens, just in case this phone cuts off. But I don't got much battery. But anyway,
Go ahead. I said I was start talking some more, but
no, it's all right, man. But nah, man, you know what? To be remembered for that, it kind of sucks. It does bother you a little bit, and then for them to only see that because that was the most famous performance you have been involved in, the most famous fight that was there, that was that's been on YouTube with your name attached to it. It's a little tough at times, but I take it as a good thing. It wasn't like it was the first round I got blown away that like easy money. You know what I mean? For him, he struggled. There was parts of the fight that he hated just as much as I did. Probably not as much as I did, but he hated he hated some parts of the fight when he couldn't land. He was getting yelled at in the corner and was struggling to do things that he wanted to do. But I still look at the rest of my career and people who know about that as the highlights. I made a lot of money for that fight, kind of. I got an opportunity to fight one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and actually held my own in ways in that fight. And just my entire career, I feel like it was a blessing more than a curse. You know what I mean? I'm known because of this. I got respect because of this. Because look at me, like I said, I ain't no fighter. I don't even have the look of a fighter. I don't have like that aura, like you said. I don't even get the respect of a fighter the most of the time. But the fact is, I am one. And it's there. The people have, and there are people that respect it, and there are people that know it. And regardless of, just like Nate, the stuff that Nate is going through now, if he decides to want to continue to do this, I'm not sure if he will, because that's kind of a tough thing to come back from. Because I tell you, it took me 8 months to get over that Vladimir Klitschko thing. And that's the only time I've ever been down, only time I've ever been stopped.
I'm pretty sure
amateur or pro.
He's a competitor. So I can see him going back to the drawing board and really taking boxing serious and wanting to learn it.
Why not? Why not? He got a tough mentality. He got an edge on him. You know what I'm saying? He's not the type of person that's going to want to be bested and then that's it. But I mean, listen, man, boxing is a different world. You can get somebody who can bust your ass on the court, give you 50. And then the next time you come up, you get up 25 and they don't score. That's cool, but you're playing. Somebody knock you out, that's different. That's different. That's a different feel because it feels like they took your your masculinity out of you. Like he just demasculated you. You have nothing left. You're a fucking shell. You understand what I'm saying? So
it's unfortunate that it's looked at like that. But you know what's crazy? A good friend of mine that I actually used to box with his nephew in the amateurs, Julius, the chef. What's the chef? Not the chef. The Hawk. What was his last name?
Julian Jackson.
Julian Jackson. So his son Julius Jackson. Julius Jackson. I boxed in the amateurs with his cousin Samuel Rogers. He was a big inspiration for me when I first started. And we used to box and we competed on some cards together and stuff. But then I saw Julius Jackson fight and he got knocked out. Mm-hmm. And after he got knocked out, he was just a big smile on his face. And he was just like, yeah, it was a great fight. Got caught with a good shot. And you know what I'm saying? Super, like took it like I couldn't believe how well he took getting knocked out.
Right.
And then I DM'd him, I shot him a DM, like, yo, I saw the fight, man, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm all right. And I was like, yo, man, I'm really proud of how you handle that. And he said, look, man, fighting's just something I do. It doesn't define me as a man. And, like, that stuck with me. Like, I think too many times that fighters and anybody in any profession, we define ourselves in our profession, right? Like, so, for instance, I'm a coach. I define myself as a coach. If I go out there and I lose, a fighter of mine loses or something like that, now people are going to say, yo, that Coach Anthony, man, I told you, man, he don't know shit about boxing, man. He just a YouTube coach. You see what I'm trying to say? If I allow that to to really get the best of me, then everything else I've done as a man in 37 years don't mean nothing. If I'm defining myself by my career only, you know, what are the things you do outside of boxing? You feel what I'm saying? If you're a father, if you're a good husband, if you're, you know, if you're making bills down, if you're helping people, if you're doing all these things that people don't see, they only see your profession. And we label ourselves in our profession too much. Like, you know, a guy like you who's a fantastic human being, I know you outside of the ring, if you define yourself on a knockout loss, so what other quality that you have in life doesn't matter no more because you lost? So, you know, when Julius Williams said that, man, that was one of, I mean, Julius Jackson said that, you know, it really stuck with me, man. Like, this doesn't define you. Like, lose a boxing match, and that's all my amateurs out there, all my people who are aspiring fighters. If you lose a fight, if you really do this, right? Because there's 411 people looking right now. Let's just say 1% of you guys actually really fight. And so this is who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the 1% who really fight. Now, I'm not talking to everybody else who just makes believe they fight. I'm talking to the 1%. If you do this and you lose, this doesn't define you as a man.
That's right.
It's just a sport. You lost. You go back to the gym. You start training again, and you come right back. If I define myself by all my losses, I wouldn't have all these people right now watching me and you speak. You know what I'm saying? I've had many bumps in the road to get this Coach Anthony boxing thing going, to open a gym, to get to the point where I'm working world title corners. This didn't come easy. This came through sacrifice, consistency, losses, embarrassments, all of that. You feel me? Guess what? I kept pushing. And I ain't nowhere near where I want to be. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this don't define me as a man outside. At the end of the day, what defines me is how I carry myself, how I am with my family, you know, that I'm handling my business when I'm supposed to handle my business. And that's for you guys out there who take this too personal. And there's nothing wrong with being competitive, but you have to remember, man, that, you know, this is not who you are only. This is just one thing that you do. And if you lose, that's fine. It's like somebody who commits crimes, and I'm not promoting crime. But you might get arrested. You might get arrested if you're committing crimes on a day-to-day. You might go to jail. If you're out there doing dirt, you might get caught. You know what I'm saying? If you're out there having unprotected sex with a bunch of girls, you might catch something. If you're running around people talking too close with no mask, you might get coronavirus. That's just what it is right now. So if you're in there and you're training and you're exchanging punches and you're fighting consistently, you might get knocked out. Welcome to the game. It's just part of the game. You got to take the good with the bad. You might knock somebody out. You might get knocked out. You might win a lot of fights. You might lose the big fights that you really wanted to win. It is what it is. You got to stay strong, stay level-headed, and stay consistent. And you're going to eventually get that big moment that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? You can't give up. You can't be the man who never gives up. You feel me? You can't be the man who never gives up, or a woman for that matter. You feel what I'm trying to say?
No, or female, 100%.
Yeah. So I think that's a good way to end this. That's my message, Coach Anthony. That's my Vince Lombardi message of the day. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
my moment. You know what I mean? I let Eddie have his moment. Roy Jones, that's my moment. All right.
That moment.
But you know, I want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. I want to say, guys, go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. Everything's 75% off. Go please, because Monday it's over. It's over. We're going right back up. Y'all not just gonna keep stealing my stuff like this. You know what I mean? And be on the lookout for me and Eddie. We're gonna go ahead and be dropping some more fire for you guys real soon. And that's it, man. I appreciate it. Take care. Boxing life. Why you not wearing your boxing life shirt, Eddie? Boxing life, man.
Oh shit, man. You know I fucking
these too, man. These are 50% off too, man. Boxing life. All right, what you gonna say?
I got it, man, but
you got it. Come on, man. All right, y'all. We out.
My bad.